Hey guys, it's Alvin here, and today we're going to be talking about the two most influential people in the personal finance space. We're talking Robert Kiyosaki and Dave Ramsey. They oppose on a lot of different things: how to use debt, whether debt is good or bad, what are the best investment opportunities, but is there a scenario where they both may be correct? We'll also talk about my own personal journey to reaching financial independence and what I learned along the way. If you like videos like this, please hit the like button, hit subscribe. Now let's get going. So when I was in traveling sales, I'll be on the road for a week, home for a week. And while we were there, we were flipping properties, right? We were rehabbing properties and selling them. We were also reading Dave Ramsey's Total Money Makeover. And in that book, he was talking about the strategy to pay off the debt the quickest, which is paying off the smallest one and using that cash flow to pay off the next one. That's what we started to do. Every time we flipped the property, we'd go ahead and use those funds to pay off our debt. Then we got to a point pretty quickly where we paid off all of our debt. Our house was paid off, our student loans were paid off, our cars were paid off, credit cards paid off. So we're at a position where we were able to keep a lot more of the money we were making, because we had paid off our debts. So it was already earlier in the year and I had closed on one of the accounts. This is one of my whales. And I felt like I was accomplished for the year. And then when that paycheck came in, I felt empty inside. I felt like there was nothing else to pursue. I didn't want to get promoted. I didn't want to do any lateral moves. And I looked at my bank account and I had 3 years worth of income just sitting there. So I asked my wife for her blessing and she said, yeah, I could quit my job and become an independent person. What that meant, what that was going to be, I had no idea. I was flipping properties. I guess I would keep doing that. But the idea that I just was free was liberating. And it stimulated me to now eventually create my own business and be where I am today. In Robert Kiyosaki's Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talks about the importance of getting paid to learn. And you might want to get a job that pays you a little bit less, but is more interesting to you. You do the things that you're most fascinated by and you're building skill sets that you can use later on in life. And so when I was at Gartner, I realized that I didn't care about the subject matter. I did not want to learn more. And so it made sense for me to leave a corporate job to go ahead and venture off and do my own thing, because at least now I'd be learning the things that matter most to me, which for me was real estate investing. That was my passion, is what I was already doing. Now it's just a matter of how do I get better at it? And I get better by spending more time in the industry. So I left the corporate world with a stockpile of cash and I thought, like, what could I do next to help educate me for that next level? Well, my goal was to own apartment buildings. So I figured if I started a CAM management company, this is a company where I would be managing HOAs for communities, running the books for them, scheduling maintenance and repairs and things of that nature. It would prepare me to be an operator when it was time for me to eventually own my own apartment buildings. So I started off and venturing off and starting to try to franchise existing CAM management companies and making my own rebrands, versions of them, also operating with them. I didn't realize how difficult it was to grow accounts. And so after a year of trying to grow my CAM management business, I didn't gain a single account. And ultimately, it was just not panning out. And so after a year of trying, I didn't grow a single account and it made sense for me to try something else. So while I was trying to build a CAM management company, I was also trying to become a developer at the same time. I've had a lot of rehab experience. I became known locally within my industry, and I began to group with other people to figure out how do we develop our own properties. And so we ended up figuring out a plan of knocking down $1 million homes, building $3 million homes, and eventually selling them for $4 million. Seemed like an excellent plan. The challenge is we couldn't get funding. We tried getting investors. Every one of them wanted an equity stake, which killed the benefit for all of them. We didn't want a fourth partner in the deal. Finding the cash to tear down these properties was also difficult. And we also found that the turnaround time, the idea that it could take 2 years to build something, wasn't something that was going to able to put money on the table today. So ultimately, that business never panned out. A year after leaving corporate America, my two first businesses basically never made any money. But I did become a real estate agent just to basically do my own deals. And I ended up making about $47,000 just helping people from church, people that I knew in the neighborhood. So I did a couple of really easy transactions. The only problem was I hated it. I didn't like working with retail buyers and sellers. It wasn't my specialty. I felt like I was faking it. And ultimately, it just wasn't fun. I didn't care about it. So I decided to become an investor-friendly agent. I wanted to create a business solely focused on helping out-of-state investors buy properties in Florida. If you're looking to become an investor-friendly agent, I have 3 rules for you. Number 1, become an investor. If you want to help others invest and you believe in real estate investing, that means you should be doing it too. And you should be looking in the market and seeing what the best opportunities are. You should be running the numbers. You should be networking with other investors. You should be listening to podcasts. You should be so consumed with learning everything that there is to know about real estate investing that by the time an investor asks you a question, you are a source of knowledge. You can now carry them through the mud. You can now help them figure out and navigate it. And now ultimately, you separated yourself from all the other generic agents out there. My second rule is to say no. Say no often. Say no to almost everything because you want to be really good at what you say yes to. So think about it. If you say yes to something, that means you want to do it 20 times. So don't do anything that you don't want to do 20 times. So what happens is every time you do something, you're getting a rep. So imagine I went to the gym and did 1 rep curls, 1 rep bicep, 1 rep squats. It's like, well, I mean, one's not enough. You got to do a whole set. You got to do it multiple times. You want to build muscles every time you go to the gym. Same is true with your real estate business is you want to make sure, hey, if I only want to work this area, that's it. I only work this area. If I only do rehabs, if I only do short-term rentals, if I only do whatever category, that's it. That's all I do because I want to be the king and the best at whatever I'm educating my clients on. And there should always be a wide gap between me and anyone else. The third part is to build a team and not just build a team like a bunch of scattered people, but say, hey, this is a step. This is a process. This is when this person comes in. It should be orderly, it should be well thought out. An investor wants to be taken care of. They also want to get to the point quickly as possible. So if you can in one email educate them on everything, great, do that. But what you don't want to do is have, hey, these are 3 or 4 different options, or hey, if you want to find an insurance agent on your own, you can, right? You want to be as dictative as possible. This is your team. This is who you're working with. If they want the track, great, that's on them. But I provided my recommendations. I vetted these people on their path. People will bend over backwards to work with you because you fed them over the years. You've taken care of other people. And that's how you create synergy. And your clients can tell. They can tell whether it's your first time working with someone or whether you have a long-standing relationships, right? And sometimes things go sideways. And you need your players, your partners to work on navigating and figuring out the best path forward. They're not going to be patient with you if every time they hear from you, it's a one-off, right? Make it a steady, make it a business, make it a system, figure out how to do this over and over again. But ultimately, you got to create your own team. Well, that's a wrap. So now I want to hear from you. Do you agree, disagree? Do you have any good takeaways? Do you have any questions for me? If so, leave them below. I'll be replying to each and every question and comment, and I'll see you next time.